Oh, so um, yes, yes, and I think concerning the Sandy Hooks hoax, you also mentioned that they sometimes accidentally or supposedly try to show us that it is fake. They try to stage these events to divide the masses, the people, so that some people see that it is there are really contradictions in such stories, and like you said, they are whining and they are laughing when the camera were on the people who were affected by this Sandy Hook's assassination and so on. And the parents, some parents laughed and some parents were whining. Like you said, I also think they are trying to divide us with that they make it for enlightened people, they make it really obvious that it is staged. I think you said that, and I must confirm that
Yeah, they want
they
us to
want to
butt
do.
heads, especially if there's children's deaths reported, and then if they have a controlled opposition agent like Alex Jones, the Bill Hicks, and that royal out of Germany, and now he is now sued or deplatformed, and they promote
Yes,
that in the mainstream news, and if people are now sharing Alex Jones thinking he's legitimate, now they are judged as crazy and, oh, you support Alex Jones and he's yelling about gay frogs and doesn't get to the actual truth that matters, and he'll always just say the globalists without actually mentioning the different factions of Freemasonry, the European royals, the big nosers. I mean, he used to talk about the Jews a little bit, but then now he's married to one, and all of these, it's just a big pantomime to get us divided and conquered, and that's the Freemason motto. And I guess the aristocrats, they've
yes,
segregated, they've had their dukes and their barons, which are present day Freemasons that control the peasants and the serfs. The
yes.
serfs have a little
I
bit of land and farming, but the peasants have to work on the serfs' farm. So it's almost, yeah, it's just layers of a hierarchy and divide and conquer. And like you said, the people that can think and see are now divided against the minions that just watch TV and believe things as presented.
yes, that's exactly the way it is. Uh, but there's one simple truth you gotta understand to see through this entire deception, and this truth is if someone is prominent on the world stage, he doesn't belong to the good side. He is a royal or a fake identity of a royal or a Freemason or whatever, and that has to get into the people's heads so that there is no division between good and evil on the world stage. They are
Yeah.
all evil, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I was that your match, the Elon Musk being Prince Constantine?
Yes.
Yep, that's what I thought, and that was when I met you 2 years ago. I think that the other members of the Royals Exposed group said that's not a good match. But those the cheekbones, the low kind of feminine cheekbones, men have much more higher pronounced. And so, have you seen the gender inversion and possibly even just a lot of disguises? They could put a mask on a man to make it look like a woman, and they could do vice versa. So as much as I see that the reverse gender, transgender stuff is prominent amongst the aristocrats and Freemasons, sometimes it's just part of their disguise, possibly. And draw.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think it is a deception to distract us from the fact that they are fake identities. Because when you think they are inverted or transgendered, you don't get to the idea that they are not this person who they claim to be. And you always have to consider how does the original actor it's a German model very they said that Heidi Klum tranny is inverted, that she looks like tranny because of her white chin and her cheekbones and so on. But when I expose the princess who's behind Heidi
Princess
Klum,
Madeline of Sweden.
Uh, no,
Was it
Princess
the
Marie
princess?
of Denmark.
Okay.
And when I look at Princess Marie of Denmark, I don't see any tranny features in her face. So you're right. It might be a consequence of a disguise that I think they also intentionally try to look like they are inverted because it's a good distraction. Okay, yes.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. All they have to do is put on a mask with the higher cheekbones, and sometimes I wonder if some of these paparazzi photos at the beach and whatnot that really look like wide shoulders and pronounced collarbones and long limbs, the male. It's much longer. They could just get a secret transgender, one of these Victoria's Secret models, to stand in with a Heidi Klum mask and go to the beach, or the Princess Marie of Denmark. And as well, CGI, they can, and different camera lens angles. If you use the certain lens angles, a face will look rounder or elongated, and the limbs will look longer. So it's multifaceted, the
Yes.
ways that they can fool the people that they're, because some of these people are just very strict and say everybody on the world stage is inverted. However, many times I've found that they'll play a male role and a female role, so they're more so androgynous actors that play both roles. And then can they use even voice modulation, or maybe they're even professional actors. I mean, I can even talk like a girl and I sound feminine, even though I have a deep voice, right? These people are professional actors with and how many different languages and accents can these people master in all the different countries they play roles, hey?
Yes, yes, yes. That goes far beyond the abilities a human usually has. So that's also the reason why I don't want to reduce the performance workout of these royals to mere human powers. I think it's unbelievable. If you consider that one single royal plays 80 to 130 roles, condition where I came to after all exposures, proof my family relations and biometrics and so on and so on. I think nobody of us would ever manage that work rate, and that's why I think there are not mere human forces behind their abilities. Okay, it's unbelievable what they do, but truth is stranger than fiction, I think. In this, stranger than a science fiction novel, in this case. And that's a great advantage of the novels, because the humans can't imagine that. They can only trust science, but what goes beyond science and what goes beyond human capabilities, they cannot imagine. I think the performance skills of these royals, of these European nobles, go beyond human skills.
Well, you know how people big into the New Age movement and channeling, acting with some type of, I mean, even what is it, the Ouija board or tarot cards and all of this. It seems that there is or what schizophrenics suffer from. Could these people be intentionally connecting with what people consider demons, aliens, astral entities? And could that be empowering their acting skills? So I guess relating to a Christian, it would be their demonic, or relating to the New Agers, their channeling entities.
Yes, I think the royals themselves do the rituals, when I might call it so, which empower these paranormal forces. You just have to watch the live shows of Lady Gaga or Beyonce. What on the stage, what symbolisms they are using, or you gotta consider Freemasons, how many times they use the symbolism of the two pillars of Jachin and Boaz. You can find this symbolism of Freemasonry in Columbia Pictures logo when you watch a movie. And so, the two pillars of Jachin and Boaz as a Freemason's symbolism. And they are pushing it. They want, yes, it is, in my opinion, it is just satanic symbolism. And they are, they are sacrificing to their Lord.
she's barking. You can't.
What did you do?
But keep going. I'll just wave to my buddy.
Okay, I was just finished. It's okay.
So then, and that's what I've. Sometimes I wonder, though, with the amount of denominations of all the different religious cults and the money that they rake in, could they be scaring people back to church with some of the satanic symbolism? And so I'm not denying that there is entities that they may be inviting into themselves and trying to broadcast magic spells out of Hollywood broadcasting. However, could the Christians be invoking these entities? Could the Muslims be, bowing down to these entities? And then could the Jews be putting on these little square hats and all of their bloody rituals? So I guess, what do you think about the trauma-based programming and trying to possibly scare people back to church with the idea of Satan?
Okay, so Satan is empowered if the people go back to church, or these demons that gives these royals the power to perform their roles are empowered when the people live in fear and go back to church.
Pray, pay, and obey. And so
maybe they are praying not to God but to the wrong direction.
like the Bible and Baal or Moloch that people sacrifice their So a lot of Christians will say this vaccine is the mark of the beast, but you start looking into the legal system versus lawful, and the Christian name could be the mark of the beast. You cannot buy or sell, or, the signature on your birth certificate and your identity. And so this is all in the Bible considered idolatry. And so the mark of the beast could be even the Christian name, which they've registered on the stock market. And without the ID and without believing that you are the, capitalization with the Roman numerals. And so an I in lowercase has an I, a little dot at the I is an I, but then the Roman
Well, that was very complex, difficult to answer. Well, um, we have to stress that we are humans, real natural humans, okay? Uh,
at the word human in Black's Law Dictionary, it's still considered a monster or black. The color black, black or white, and they consider the human a different. So now you're painted with the color of law, which isn't natural law. The color of law relates back to the legalese corporate fiction, where you're not even considered a man or a woman or a son or a daughter. They consider you a legal person, an individual, and they'll consider your sons and daughters children, which once again, Black's Law Dictionary, that is owned by the government again, and a legal fiction, or below. It's like underground necromancy again for them to control the peasants.
I don't know what to answer to that one. I don't know what to answer. Um,
So one more aspect then is similar lines is with the vaccine. I'm sure if you have Christian friends, have they been mentioning that the vaccine is the mark of the beast?
uh, Yeah, some of them, but I don't believe that because you can nothing buy with the vaccine. Like it is said in the Bible, the mark of the beast must be some kind of, how do you call it in English? Some kind of a ship or that.
Citizenship, like for every nation. Nation in Hebrew means goyim, so every goyim has a citizenship, and this is where the maritime admiralty law, the law of the sea, is legalese maritime admiralty law, all governed by the universal commercial code, or not universal, the uniform commercial code. And so that's all about commerce and financial and admiralty law, which goes back to like the captain of the ship. So if you have a citizenship, then they see themselves as the captains that are under the
Okay.
captains, and you are just a peon, that like a passenger on the ship. You can't direct which way the ship goes. You're involved in
Yes.
constitution where the witches brew, and they mix you up and send you whichever way to work. But I guess the mark of the beast, I think, really does relate to the citizenship and the maritime admiralty law of the water. And even Jordan Maxwell points out, if you cross the bar in the courthouse, they have a bailiff and Baal, the Bible. If you swear on the Bible and cross the bar, you're now in hot water. And so it's once again the law of the water, maritime admiralty law versus natural law of the land. So if you're a man on the land, you are standing above, and even with the police, they'll tell you, do you understand? Or the judges with their hammer, like Thor of the Norse paganism, and so they'll say, do you understand? And they want you to be below them.
Okay, I understand.
Well,
But it's
and
difficult
so
for
if the
me.
police, instead of answering, I understand, because I want me and you, we're on equal terms, I comprehend, or it's interesting if just the word comprehension is even Steven, so to speak, versus understand is the tears of enlightenment, they would consider it.
Yes, yes. I also heard this stuff from my German. Um, yes, I think every human has to have his own spirit. Um, and have to. It's difficult to say that in English for me. As to get distance to this Lord trap, how I might call it.
Yeah, well, and I was that's a totally separate and very nuanced issue that I mean, I'm not an expert of it in any sense. I learned a lot from Jordan Maxwell, but I'm sure you found out he plays Rockefeller Sr. and he played Bill Cooper, who apparently died, but they always recycle these truther roles. And he even plays Frank Rizzo. I think it was the mayor of Chicago or Philadelphia. And then he plays Sheriff Joe Arpaio. So even though they have their higher level truther guys that will tell you a bit of truth, they'll mix in lies and then Santos Bonacci, he taught me quite. I learned quite a lot from him. It was in 2015 in January. I sent him a message and said, "Hey, the Earth's flat. I'd love to get you on for an interview." And sure enough, he ignored me for several years. And then I find out he probably plays the role of jungle surfer down in Australia. And I think somebody had him as a European royal. Have you gotten some of these truthers exposed?
Is he a prominent person?
Oh yeah,
Is he a
Santos Bonacci's.
celebrity?
Well, within the truther community, is very prominent.
Mhm.
He exposes a lot of high level truth, and especially like the astrotheology relating to the biblical and the Quran and the Jewish books, where it's essentially a form of they write these books in a symbolic relating to the planets and the stars and the cycle of the moon and the sun and Passover with the Jews and all this shit. It's an esoteric occult meanings, but for the masses, they read it as exoteric. That's God's truth, and they believe in all of this shit as if it is relevant to like real history. Like, for instance, people believe that Abraham and Sarah are real characters, and then you look into Hindu mythology, and they have a Brahmin and Saraswati, and so this Abraham, Saraswati, all of these religions are all controlled by these same people. But what yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, you choose the direction. Here we go. I kind of went on quite a ramble there.
You're the interviewer. You ask me questions. Okay.
So then,
I just want to answer your question.
yeah. So I'll get a question for you. As far as the German in Germany, how many people are still believing the news? I mean, especially. Are you getting much traction? I haven't looked at how many subscribers you have, but like I know with the actor-based reality here in Canada, people think I'm crazy
Ah,
and they still watch the
okay.
news.
Okay. First of all, I've got 545 subscribers, I think. That is not a huge channel, okay? I'm proud of it, okay? It's okay. I'm uploading regularly my videos and I'm working hard to get these subscribers, but there are also truther channels with 200,000 subscribers, okay? 544 or 45. So the based reality. And how much do you believe in the news? Good question. Pity. And but other Germans, time by time, that the politicians are lying. We've got a new chancellor in Germany in the Friedrich Merz. He didn't get inaugurated yet, 80 years, every year, and the people are voting always the same parties. That's what happens in Germany. So I think it actually these parties are actually not voted by the people, but they are manipulated these elections, and but the people believe that a majority of people has voted these politicians, despite there are only two parties in Germany who have been the strongest in the last 80 years. After the Second World War, there were only but the German still believe that this was just the result of election of several elections. Really have to say they are blindfolded, and that's really some kind of stupidity to believe in elections. They are actually not happening. They are simulated. Because if elections really would happen, we wouldn't have these royals in our parliaments. I'm convinced that the royals, the European royals, founded the institutions which decide who can become a big other people say these politicians are not chosen by the elite but elected. So I really think it's a pity how much the Germans let them fool themselves by the news, and instead of noticing that there must be something wrong with the system.
Yep, I'm curious with even going back to Adolf Hitler. Who do you think played Hitler?
I think he is played by Ernst August III of Hanover, a German royal. I made a video about this with family relation groups and so on. It is 3.5 years ago. But of course, Hitler was also played by a royal. He didn't get on his post by elections. He was selected as a bad evil, which should brandmark Germany in further history. And that was also the aim that the royals wanted to gain by staging a World War II. They wanted to give the Germans a reason that they have some guilt on their shoulders, and that we have to let a lot of foreigners over to our borders, so that we have to keep our borders open to minimize this historic guilt. That was planned, I think, because what is happening in Germany now, we've got massive migration, and people are really starting to question whether the German people can pay all the money for these refugees. I have to say it's getting more and more and more, and but the media keep on telling that we have to reduce our historic guilt. In my opinion, that's a psyop.
Yeah, well, and I guess relating to the big nosers in Germany, I mean, the amount of hatred that the Western media has pitted against Germans and saying, oh, these evil Nazis, you're a white supremacist. Meanwhile, you look into Hitler and all of these Eichmanns, and that's a Bavarian German name, and so a lot of these Bavarian Illuminati or Bavarian Eichmanns and Bronfmans, we've got them all in Canada. These are Bavarian Jews, and they're not of the German, and so these were the prominent members of Hitler's establishment. Ed Sheeran was talking about Hitler being possibly played by Walt Disney, and Angela Merkel being little Shirley Temple. What did you think about Ed Sheeran's matches?
I think Hitler and Walt Disney is a right match. But of course, Walt Disney is not the original behind Hitler. The original behind Hitler is Prince Ernst August III of Hanover, and all these royals have several fake identities, and Walt Disney and Adolf Hitler were both fake identities. It's difficult to see that Ernst August III of Hanover is Hitler and Walt Disney. But I checked that, and it's my result of hours of weeks of work and family relation proofs and so on. It's very difficult to see. I know they sometimes they really tried hard to get a real camouflage, and so Angela Merkel, I've also exposed her. She's Princess Ursula of Bavaria. She's a Bavarian royal, yes. And what do you want to say to that?
Well, I was
way
just recently the Hanover. I was just recently seeing the similarities of this Andrea Casagari, and he is of the House of Hanover as well. And it looks like he plays popular truther Eric Dubé, and John Levi is another role he plays. And so this House of Hanover, and the more you get into the House of Monaco and all of these aristocrats,
yes.
You are right on to it, that the monarchies and all of these royal families are heavily involved in the actor-based reality and in the truther community, because I think that they will choose the highest level thinkers and the best actors to be involved in the truth community, because people like me and you are clever and will see through their bullshit. And if they put just stupid Freemasons and the little minions to take over the roles of so I guess that's what I figure is that House of Hanover, just recently looking into it, that Eric Dubé is very clever. He's a very intelligent guy, and once again I reached out to him in 2015 for an interview, and he approved and said, yeah, let's do it. But as soon as I started going into the monarchies involvement with secret transgenderism and the connection with the monarchies, the Jews, the Jesuits, and the all of the Abrahamic cults, they rather not touch on certain subjects. And so I probably shouldn't have revealed so much in my personal messages, because then he just canceled, and no response from him.
Okay. Well, you're right that the House Hanover and the House of Monaco are working closely together. Prince Ernst August of Hanover, strong connection, and always confirmed that the Hanover is working closely together with the Monaco royals, that they are um, due to relationships and so on. Well, you're absolutely right, and that's the knowledge which exposes these royal cheaters. The royals are involved here. They how how the few can play the many. That's one of the principles of the actor-based reality. The most important principles of the actor-based reality is the few are playing the many. There are maybe 100 royals playing 100,000 fake identities. That, but it's a reality I observe, which is proven by family relationships and so on. Yes,
Well, and
it's incredible.
just to give people a bit more, the doubters, to give them a bit of an understanding, if the roles are fabricated by one aristocrat playing several dozens and maybe even hundreds of roles, they'll right away say, how could they be in this place at that time? But if you now have hyper realistic masks, CGI, and look-alike actors that step in and play the parts of their little, they'll wave to the public. Meanwhile, while one aristocrat is waving to the public, they have a rock star role, and they can't be performing at a rock concert and waving to the public at the same time. However, they have actors that can step in, and they even have holographic projection technology that they could even project an actor appearing on stage. Tupac did this, for instance. I think one of Tupac, there's multiple players that have played the character of Tupac. One of them, the taller one, is Idris Elba, and coincidentally, Idris Elba played at Coachella, a big music festival in California, and at the same festival, they did a holographic projection of Tupac on stage. And so they'll Idris Elba is now in cahoots with the royal family and going to these weddings and stuff like this, and Tupac is now there's multiple roles. So it's very bizarre how one actor can play several different roles, and several different actors can even step in to play one character. And that's where a lot of people are recognizing that every time Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton, they always look different. It's because they're using different actors and the prosthetic masks, and it's just bizarre, eh?
Yes, we can have. I think I have some other explanations for that, what you mentioned, but it doesn't matter. Mm, yeah, they're camouflaged by one. God, I've got the disadvantage that I'm not a native English speaker here. I'm noticing that. Um, yeah,
Well, your friend Ama Mia, she's saying they could be using twins and triplets too, and a lot of people talk about clones. Have you seen that possible distraction where when we point out the matches, people will
yeah.
say, "Oh, that's a clone."
I think it is not possible to clone humans.
I I think so
um,
too. I think it's a total
uh,
distraction.
it's on a vision of a mere scientific uh, view. It's unbelievable. The human person is so complex. It has a soul. Just in a laboratory, or how you ever want to call it. Behind that I don't think that humans themselves can reproduce humans. Every human is a miracle.
Yeah. Have you, has that been a common distraction where people will say, oh, they're cloned though? Like how, and what are some of the other excuses?
Yes, I think it is a distraction. But they actually don't need this distraction, because most people even don't recognize the similarities between these stars, like the similarity between Sandra Bullock and Winona Ryder. It's really extreme. I cannot show pics here right now, but if you know the intro to my videos, you know what I mean.
You blew me away with that one, because Sandra Bullock, they put on some type of a jaw pro. Sandra Bullock was transgender. However, when you show was it Princess Marie was her
Yes, yes,
royal?
yes.
She looks very feminine. It looks like a beautiful woman. And those, and even with the Winona Ryder or Keira Knightley or these other roles, she looks more feminine. But with the Sandra Bullock, and she looks, the Sandra Bullock may have played Michael Jackson. She can sing. I think. I think she might have been one of the Michael Jacksons when Michael Jackson turned white. That's just Sandra Bullock or Princess Marie stepping in there, eh?
Yeah. Michael Jackson is Prince Carl Philip of Sweden. I've already exposed that. It's also proven by tons of family relations. But I know what you mean. They really try to deceive us, and they also are trying to deceive the truth scene. They invading the truth scene with wrong series. Yes. The 20 series, one of them, with high cheekbones, low cheekbones, like you said. Yes.
Yeah, well, and it's so bizarre how like sometimes I think, like hypnotists like put people under hypnosis, and it really does seem like that the the more people watch TV, the more hypnosis chance for them to watch this presentation. They're going to think, oh, you guys are crazy, and they'll go back to watching TV. And so the hypnosis or the
Yeah.
spells and black magic, they're scrambled, these people, and then they'll call me and you crazy when we think outside the box and don't watch the frickin' TV, and
Yeah.
we don't subscribe to following the celebrities.
Yes, that's right. I think it's indoctrination from birth on. It's very hard to stripe off something that you have been taught since you were a little child. It's very hard to stripe off that the Earth is a globe, or thought this is a lie. It's very hard to stripe off, because you've been told that since you are 4 years old, 5 years old, and um, after some centuries, you accept that as a normal, as a reality, despite it is an artificial construction, which always had been repeated in a very simple way. And I'm also recognizing it's really simple because they even don't use logical arguments for as a foundation of this propaganda. They just repeating it again and again, and by just repeating it, this propaganda has its truth. Just because you are repeating something for decades over and over again, it doesn't mean that it is the truth, but the people get indoctrinated. And
Yeah, well, and I think that even within the controlled opposition agents, the flat Earth truthers, they're all controlled. So that Andrea Casagari plays Eric Dubé, but then he also puts on a wig and makeup and plays Patricia Steer, flat Earth and other hot potatoes. So they'll
Eminem, he
play
also plays
masculine,
Eminem.
feminine. Yeah,
Yes,
he's their best actor. I see him. He's on my Facebook friends list. Eric Dubaz. He keeps creeping higher on the list of people watching my videos. Since last week, I did an expose calling him out as Andrea Casagari, and he's been watching now. And so you and these clowns, they hate competition. The other point I was going to mention is if they are releasing the flat Earth map, this azimuthal equidistant map, it's still spinning and crazy, just like the globe Earth spinning. So as difficult as it is for people to comprehend, and I'm not totally certain, but the sun and here's a 2D, just X and Y, but then the Z axis is the third axis, right? So you get height, width, and depth. I think we may be living in a realm, though, where on this physical plane we're governed by X, Y, and Z axis, but where our our spirit comes from is possibly the fourth dimension. And so if you think outside of the box, and when we dream, when we die, if you have a near death experience or you do too many drugs, you may go back to what the mathematicians will call the W axis. And so there's an object called a tesseract, which is a box within a box. This may be more akin to how our reality is governed, and so once the sun and the moon come to this edge, it's like Pac-Man, and it's the sun and the moon go straight across. But anyways, I'm not sure how exactly the sun and the moon are moving and the sky appears to spin, but there's a channel called Square Earth Cosmology. Very compelling debunking of the popular flat Earth model. Another one is Richard Collenbeck, and then Sam Kelly with Enoch One Flat Earth Group. But are you familiar with the Enoch One or that model of flat Earth, which is like square?
I am familiar with Enoch, but not with the model of his flat Earth, not with his model of the flat Earth. And I think we don't need to know the truth, what shape the Earth has. The only thing we need to know is that the heliocentric world picture is wrong, because the heliocentric world picture says the sun is 93 million miles away from Earth in the space, or that's even a scientific sentence. Terrible, really, absolutely terrible. And I would say we can recognize the sun even in our ionosphere. I don't know whether it is the right English word, but hopefully you understand what I mean. If the seasons change, we can feel the sun getting warmer. We can see the trees losing their leaves and so on. And that's all consequences of sun shining. And so the sun is so close to the earth. We feel it when the seasons change. And I cannot imagine that it is in some kind of outer space 93 million miles away. Oh, what do I know? That's bullshit. And so I can say the heliocentric worldview is a lie, a big lie. I would even deny the existence of space. And but I cannot say how the flat Earth really is constructed. I think it is flat. I believe that it has a firmament on which the sun and the stars are hanging within the Earth's ionosphere, not in the ionosphere of the space, but within the ionosphere. So the sun belongs to the Earth, to the room of the Earth, not to the room of the space. But that's only a belief I have. That's not certain knowledge. I cannot prove anything.
I love your philosophy, which is you can't prove and you're not certain. And as well, I find that whether it's flat Earth or a ball or a transgender or an androgynous actor, it's all trivial pursuit. And I'm not Inspector Gadget. I'm not gonna ever figure out what gender these faker actors are. And as well, I'm not a master cosmologist that's going to pretend like I know the truth, but it's very easy to disprove that the sun being 90, when you see it shining through that it's a triangular crepuscular rays, they call it. And as well, like that proof, they'll say it was 3,000 years that Eratosthenes put sticks in the desert and judged by the shadow length. And I mean, if you're on a ball, the shadow, it's very easy for them to reverse engineer the mathematics of that experiment by just saying the Earth or the sun is away. If you bring the sun closer, the shadow lengths would equal the same as what their Hegelian dialectic, their reverse engineering and bringing the sun way out there. They're very good mathematicians, I'll give them that, and they reverse engineer the truth to make it plausible in mathematical terms, but what we see and experience is not what the mathematicians and what do you call them, astronomy majors. And especially like in 2015, I bought a telescope, went down to the coast and started zooming in on the boats that appear to go over the horizon, and the bottom of the boat disappears. You get that telescope and you can zoom right in and see the bottom of the boat, so you can see the sea is level, sea level. And that's good enough proof. If all of the Earth is connected with oceans and the oceans are level, it's pretty obvious that that we're not living on a spinning globe.
I also think so. Yes.
What other topics have you talk about? Because yeah, I really appreciate though that you don't just claim to know it for certain, because I think that that's the way they really want to divide and conquer. Oh, you're a flat earther, I believe in the ball. What other type of divisions do you see they're promoting?
What was your last question? What other?
Another popular division. I mean, within in Germany, I'm sure actually the people that believe in the Holocaust, whether you question the such polarizing issues that they want us to argue about, eh? like
Yes,
with the Holocaust.
history is always fake, and I have my own opinion, but I'm not allowed to say it on this live stream. You understand?
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
I might get sued or something like that. That's
Yeah,
the case in
well, and they have
Germany. Okay,
similar.
you understand? They are watching us. You understand?
Yeah, sorry, I should know better. And in Canada, there's there is those laws as well. Ernest Zundel apparently went to jail for it, just like that But I could possibly say that Ursula Haverslew. Some people have said she looks similar to the Queen Elizabeth,
Who
the woman that
looks
went to
similar?
jail.
Who looks similar? Ursula Haferbeck?
Yeah,
Or
I think Ursula Haverslew. I thought she was a German woman that apparently went to jail for questioning the numbers of or what happened in.
yes, yes, I understand. Um, I can imagine that they control and stage everything, and the only response I have here in this live stream is I don't care. I don't care what they want to simulate, and um, I listen to my soul, and I know that they want to use. That they want to instrumentalize this World War II to keep the Germans down. That's the reason why they staged it. And well, I just keep to my.
Well,
I just
that's something to
silently
be
keep to
said.
my
That
opinion.
the higher intelligence, or especially the engineering, and the Germans sure know how to build stuff, and so I guess with such an industrious and hardworking, a lot of German immigrants come to Canada, and they're very hardworking and brilliant folks. So I think that anytime the aristocrats see a group of people that are cooperating together and successful, they will want to squash that group, because they if people are in poverty, it's much easier to control poor people.
That's what they're doing with the Germans. The Germans are not that strong as you imagine them. Think they are kept down, and a lot of Germans are falling to the lies of the nobles, of the European nobles, and
Well, and it could be that
the Germans are actually taught that the tax money should be invested in how should I say that, in in buying weapons for Ukraine against Russia. Okay, you understand? So all the um, German money, all the German tax money flows to Vladimir Zelensky and so on. And that's what our politicians decide on purpose. And the Germans don't have the pride to show resistance. The Germans, the majority really says, okay, we have elected these politicians, and they decide that Ukraine is a major problem, that Russia is a major problem, and that we have to defend the Ukraine. That's just another psyop. And actually, the people should, in a real democracy, if it would really be a real democracy, the people should make the decision what happens with the tax money, you understand? But instead, we get fucked every 4 years. There are simulated elections, and the politicians run their plan, and they stage their stuff. And the German people who think that they elected anything doesn't have any impact. It's just a simulation. And okay, who plays Zelensky? Barbie George is asking. Barbie George, I think Vladimir Zelensky is played by Prince Moritz of Oranien-Nassau, another Dutch royal, but I'm not sure with that. But
There's an
doesn't matter.
American actor, Jeremy Renner, looks very similar. This Jeremy Renner. But once again, it's very interesting how the royals will portray the controllers as Jews. Like Zelensky is apparently a Jew, right? And so they want to drum up a lot of hatred. If you read the Bible, it warns about the fake Jews, those who say they are but are of the seed of Satan or Cain bloodline. And so once again, scaring Christians back to church, blame the Chosenites. And I think that with the laws that they've put through, it's a form of scaring people. First of all, distracting them to who the actual enemy is, but then as well scaring them to speak out. Because if they believe Zelensky is of that bloodline, oh boy, they better not say anything, or they could go to jail for hate speech or anti-Semitism. So it's a very that these royals can impersonate and play different nationalities, different religions. And what do you think about? I'm curious. What was the name of the prince that was you think Zelensky was playing?
Prince Moritz of Oranien-Nassau. Maurits, Maurits. And
neat. So your friend Barbie George agrees that Jeremy Renner is it looks
yeah,
very similar. She's also thinking possibly Justin Timberlake. I'll have to look into that one. The Justin Timberlake sure does look like UFC Conor McGregor. That apparently Conor
I'm
and you
sorry.
know, I was telling you in our first live stream that comedy was a good way to share the truth, but really like popular people that are professionals. And when it comes to fist fighting, I have a record. I always beat up bullies, or I've got a record of 50 0 losses. I've never lost a fist fight. I was thinking, getting into mixed martial arts and being the world champion, I could probably win from middleweight right up to light heavyweight, and a little pipsqueak like Conor McGregor. Oh man, would I just whop him? But anyhow, the Prince Moritz, I'm going to check that out because it's very, that is a pressing issue with the amount of money that they're funneling to
Yes,
Ukraine, and the possibility of World War III.
I cannot post any image comparisons. I cannot post any image comparisons here, but okay. Interesting. And I see the battery of my mobile phone is running down. Okay, I should have charged it a little bit more. My battery is running down.
Yeah, no worries if it drops out. I guess I got a few things to do. It's 4:15. I guess is it almost midnight over there?
But in Germany, it is very late. 1:15. It's a night in Germany.
And so this is the Prince Moritz.
Yes, it is, and maybe I should post it on Facebook, then you can see the similarities to Zelensky. But again, I don't want to claim objective knowledge here because I didn't prove that with family relations and so on. And all videos I make, I always only make them when I'm absolutely sure. That's the reason why I didn't make a video of Zelensky yet. because I'm not sure. And
Oh, look how short the little guy is too. He is a little pipsqueak, eh? Prince Moritz, little guy.
yes,
Yeah, I don't mind being wrong here and there. Sometimes I'll throw a match out there and see if it sticks. But when you see the extent that they difference is, it's very easy for them to fool the masses with one character they'll list at 5'9" and then he's 6'1" in the next, but it's obviously the same actor. It's just they lie about the heights and then
yes,
have the video, what do you call it, um perspective changes and
yes,
CGI.
yes. That's a very atheistic view. I believe that these royals are possessed by Nephilim, like Barbie George always wrote in a comment. And I don't follow a mere atheistic perspective. I believe that all these playing roles and so on is also enabled by paranormal powers. I am standing to this view always on my videos and in my community posts, and I'm always also saying I believe in shapeshifting. That means in paranormal altering of the height and so on. And I've got it's not just a belief. I've got also um, uh, some kind of evidence for that. It's very difficult to explain, and you gotta have personal experiences with paranormal stuff to understand. And I cannot transport these experiences in this live stream. Um, but I believe in shapeshifting, in altering of the height by paranormal forces. Yes, that's what I do. I'm a believer in this point. And yes, I think I met.
Yeah, and we can agree to disagree.
20, but by the means of that. So icons. Yes,
And
I
so
will
then
do that.
And then, so as far as then, like the hyper realistic masks and CGI disguises, you're more
They
thinking they.
are doing both. They are doing the mask stuff and the CGI stuff, but I also have paranormal issues, and there are proofs for both that they are using both sides. For instance, like I told you, Joe Biden had several mask glitches, and so that you can really see that the latex was hanging out of his face. But on the other side, the sorry, I've got only 5% on my mobile phone. Sorry. On the other side, you can also see, um, let's say, demonic faces in the faces of the royals. That's how I have to say it. It is paranormal issues that you sometimes see in their faces. I think they are using both. I always think that they are using masks to cover what is really behind them, behind these masks. I think they have also paranormal issues. Uh, put a comparison between between Prince Maurits of Oranje-Nassau and Zelensky on Facebook or in the YouTube community, so that you can see. I've already seen that you are trying to compare these two. Okay.
Yeah.
But as I said, my mobile phone is going down. It's has low energy. I think we have to end this.
Cool.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
most appreciate. I loved getting you on, and we'll. I get a little scrambly. This is a bit more of a live stream discussion, but we'll have to get an interview, and I'll practice my hosting skills and to the point questions for you. But you, heck of a great performance. I'm so glad you put in all the effort and have the courage to share. So thanks again, Somni Delius.
Yes, thank you. It was an honor talking with you, and you were a very convenient guest. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, brother.
Bye. We stop this now because my handy is shutting down here. The battery is so low.
Okay. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.